Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Hillman here with another video. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a sixth-year medical student in the Netherlands. Currently in my last year, so almost becoming a doctor. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about what you need as a healthcare practitioner outside of the EU or Switzerland to be able to work in the Netherlands, right? This has been a long overdue video. I've getting a lot of questions from people who are outside or who got their certification outside of the Netherlands and want to work in the country. So this video is hopefully going to summarize the steps for you and make it clear what procedure you need to follow to be able to get certified in the Netherlands and work there. This is based on the research I've done and also talking with people who have gone through this process. So already answering the first question you might have, it is doable. People have done it. I know people who have gone through the system and they're now working as doctors in the Netherlands. But it applies for nurses, anything healthcare related, so orthodontist, optometrist, eye technician, everything healthcare related. This applies for you. There are specific extra steps for doctors, dentists, and nurses, but that will come along the way during the procedure. I'm going to explain all about that as well. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So the first thing and the most important thing is you need to get a certificate of competence. So this whole thing, the whole steps I'm going to be explaining, there are 10 steps in total to actually get you to be registered as a healthcare practitioner, what we call a BIG registration. That sounded so Dutch, wow, BIG registration. So the BIG applies for anyone who has a job in healthcare. You get a BIG registration and that just qualifies you to work in the Netherlands. So there's 10 steps in total, and most of these steps are to help you get the certificate of competence, and then based on what you are coming in as or what certification you have outside, if you're a doctor, a nurse, a physiotherapist, whatever, you might need to do extra tests which would then give you permission to get a BIG registration. So for some of the medical or healthcare related professions, you don't need a BIG registration, and for others you do. So I'm going to be telling you more about this and also giving you more links to help you find more information about that yourself. So the first step is, of course, prepare your application. That is the first step. Read through the whole procedure, read through the steps, read through what you have to do, and make sure that you have all it takes to be able to apply, to fill in an application form. Once you have that all settled and you're sure you have everything ready, you can fill in the application form online. There's going to be a link in the description where you can also follow through the steps and just get extra information and stuff like that which you need. But the first thing is to fill your application form. Those forms are found online. Fill in the application form and make sure that you have everything ready in terms of documentation, certifications, diplomas, and everything ready for the application, because all this has to be sent along with the application for the application to be evaluated. So when you send in the application forms with all the supporting documents, it takes about 2 weeks, the website says, to get a confirmation of reception. They'll let you know we've gotten your documentations, we've gotten your forms and everything, we'll get back to you soon enough. So once they've gotten your application and they've made sure that everything is in order, so all the documents and the form or the application is complete, then they will do an evaluation of your diploma, so your certificates, and that is done by NOFIC. So the ins and outs, the logistics of that, you can find more information on it. Basically, NOFIC is going to check for the authenticity of your diploma, after which the diploma is going to be sent to the necessary committees to evaluate the stand, so like the level of the diploma, if you qualify or not. So once NOFIC has checked for authenticity, NOFIC has checked your diploma and everything is okay with your diploma, your certifications, then you have to go into the exam part. So basically, up until now, you've gotten your documentation ready, you've applied the form, they've said, okay, your application is complete, we've checked your diploma is authentic and it's up to the level which we require as well. You're ready to go on to the next step, which is taking exams, right? Because you have to prove that your level is actually the level which they want. And this is one of the most important parts, and this is a part I'm going to spend a little more time diving into because this is really important. One key aspect of this, which I think a lot of people I've spoken to and coached online, because I'm also a coach helping people with transitions like this, one of the main things is the language, right? Because you're moving to the Netherlands and you have to understand you're dealing with healthcare and patients and interactions with colleagues and stuff like that. You need to speak the language. So one of the main things with the whole application procedure, because all the forms and stuff I think are in Dutch. I've not checked the forms out yet, but I assume they're in Dutch because I tried to translate the website, but I couldn't get a translation. So Dutch is an important part of this. So whatever you're gonna do, if you want to get your big registration at the end of the certificate of competence, you have to learn Dutch. Without Dutch, this is almost going to be impossible. So the first test you're going to have to do is the general knowledge and skills test, right? In Dutch, it's called Algemene Kennis- en Vaardigheidstoets, AKV. That basically tests your Dutch language skills. That's an important part of that test. Your English reading skills, an important part of that test. Your ICT skills is an important part of that test because you have to deal with a lot of systems and patient files and everything. So they need to test that you can actually handle computers. So the last part of that test is knowledge of the Dutch healthcare system. So these are 4 important parts of this AKV test. So the general test. And this test applies for everyone who's applying. So all healthcare professionals who are applying, no matter what you are, physiotherapist, psychologist, anything in that range of healthcare practitioner. There's a list online as well, so be sure to check the link to see if you can actually apply for this. There's a whole advice guide that can help you see if your profession actually fits the description or falls amongst those who qualify for this procedure. But everyone who's applying has to take this general test. Everyone. So once you take the general test and you've passed the general test, for a group of people who do not need to go to the next step, if you pass this test, you get a preliminary decision. And the preliminary decision is either a positive one or a negative one. If it is a positive one, you get your certificate of competence. If it is a negative one, you have the space to object. I think you can also object the positive one, but I would doubt why you want to object the positive one if that's what you've been working for. But anyways, you never know. So if you get a negative one, you can object the decision. And if you get a positive one, then you're automatically awarded your certificate of competence. And for some professions, you can go on to practice in the Netherlands with this, right? So that's the step for some professions. Now, for other professions, specifically doctors, dentists, and nurses, so these 3 groups have to take another profession-specific test. So on top of the general one, this group of people have to take another test, which is specific for your profession. So nurses will take a nurse-specific test, doctors will take a doctor-specific test, and from the people I've spoken to, they have to take the progress test, which is what all medical students take from the beginning to the end of their medical studies. You have to take the progress test, and depending on how you perform on that, you pass or you don't pass. So these specific groups have to take this specific test, which are tailored to their own, individual professions. It's worth noting that if you're a doctor or a specialist, there are other extra steps for specialists as well. But this is in general for doctors, nurses, and dentists. So once you take this test and you've passed this test and the general test before that, all the scores, whether you pass or not, all the scores are sent to a specific independent committee that analyzes, evaluates, and either gives you a positive or a negative decision. So once you have either the positive or the negative decision, then you get your certificate of competence as well, same as with the other professions. And if you get a negative decision, you can object that. And with your certificate of competence comes the next step, which is applying for your big registration. And that is a separate process. So you have to do that again by yourself, but it shouldn't be as tedious as the first one, because it's just literally, you have what it takes to get the certification or to get the registration, to get the big number, and you just apply for your big number. Like when I'm done with medical school, I also have to apply for my big number. So every doctor who completes medical school here also has to apply for the big number. So it's not a big procedure. The main part is what it takes to get the certificate of competence. Once you've gotten that, the big registration is basically a formality, for lack of a better word. It's just a formality for you to get your big number and actually be able to practice officially as a doctor in the Netherlands. So in a nutshell, that is what it takes. I know it sounds very simplified, and you can always read more information about it on the website. A lot of preparation goes into this. One of the people I spoke to who is working now as a doctor in the Netherlands, who came from Ghana, who worked in Ghana as a doctor, who was trained in Ghana as well. It took him 1 year to do the whole thing. So 1 year to learn the language, 1 year to take the test, 1 year to take the practice test as well. It took him 1 year to get all this done. It's worth noting that, for example, for doctors, you might have to take some practical tests, how to carry out anamnesis, how to do physical examinations on patients and stuff like that. That is all part of the profession-specific test. Nurses might have to do things with drips and medication controls and stuff like that, all part of the profession-specific test. dentist. I don't know what dentists do. I don't know. They might have to show some practical skills. But the content of this profession specific test, they also have information evenings to help you with the preparations. So they're not just going to throw you in the deep and ask you to come take this test without giving you proper preparation. They have information evenings, information sessions, which help applicants prepare for these exams and prepare for this test. All that information, everything can be found on the website in the description. So please be sure to check the website in the description. If you have any other questions, if you have things which are unclear to you, if you're frightened by the Dutch system, as I know a lot of people I've coached are, be sure to reach out to me through Ox Coaching. That's my coaching practice, and I would help you go through the steps again and make it more clear for you. I hope the steps up until now are somewhat clear. There are 10 steps in total. They are listed on the website. So again, please check out the website. I think it's a procedure which is doable if you're willing to invest the work that needs to go into this. Because it takes a while studying the language, it takes a while studying for these exams, it takes a while if you've been out of medical school for a long time to get this knowledge again or like refresh it and stuff like that. But the point is, it's doable. One of the people I spoke to said, okay, yeah, it's challenging and stuff like that, but it's rewarding to see, how your efforts are rewarded and stuff, because it is doable. So if you really want to go for it, if you really want to work in the Netherlands, you can, but just, you have to put in the work and be ready to put in the work as well. But ultimately, it's going to be worth it. I think so. It's a great system to work in. It's a rewarding system to work in. It's one where, if you put in the work, you are appreciated and you're promoted based on that. So for sure, if you want to do it, be sure to check the link in my bio. Follow the steps, prepare the documentations, and good luck. If you need help, be sure to reach out to me and let me know. Hope this video was helpful to someone. Hope someone could get something out of this video. And until next time, guys, peace out.